Hi everyone, welcome to Adventures with Raven and Rowley. I'm Raven and this is Rowley. For the past 3 months we've been living full-time in our 6x12 converted cargo trailer. I'm pretty much finished making modifications to it for the time being. Things like painting the exterior may or may not happen. Rowley plays or sleeps. That's his days, mine too, actually. For the previous 5 years we've lived in an RV full-time, a Class A and then a fifth wheel. Oh, you want to get down? Okay, wait a minute. Get up here. Okay. Last week I talked about the beautiful, scary rainfall in the desert. This week I'll talk about the various methods that I use to cook, mostly dependent upon the weather and how lazy I feel. If you're curious, please join us on this journey and continue to watch. I don't cook every day, probably 3 times a week, as I always cook for 2 days at a minimum, you know. I have had gastric bypass surgery, so I don't eat more than 4 or 5 ounces. My stomach won't hold any more than that, and I don't really like that full Thanksgiving full feeling, you know. I don't like feeling full. For some reason it feels cleaner to me to not feel full. Usually I solar cook. I mean, I'm in the desert. It's outside, it doesn't heat up the kitchen, and usually in one pot, so less pots to clean, you know. But let's start the video with the familiar. This video was made before, this shot in this video was made before I moved out into the desert. It's done on a Coleman stove, just to show that you can cook anything outside, you know. And I may be doing more of this type of cooking in the winter since I have a Coleman stove inside here. At that time I made a rice dish and it required prep, you know, onions, chopped, pre-cooked or leftover rice, eggs, etc. I decided that you should see what cooking is like outside. I really don't know. I figured I'd cook something outside to show you that it's the same as cooking something inside. And there are leftovers, yay! It's a fried dish. You can't fry in a solar cooker unless you have a parabolic cooker, which I don't have. Maybe one day I'll buy one or make one DIY. On cloudy days where I just don't feel like cooking, or I'm hungry and I don't want to wait and I don't want leftovers, I use dehydrated foods. All I have to do is boil water and add it to the package and wait 10 minutes, you know, 5 minutes, add it in. After 5 minutes you stir and then wait 5 more minutes and then eat. Okay. Okay, I decided I'm going to have some breakfast for lunch. I'm going to try the breakfast skillet. Now the problem is that this is enough for 2 people. On the package it says 1 1/4 cups of water. And it also says that 1 1/4 cups of dry mix makes 1 cup of prepared stuff, but I don't know how much is in this container. It says 2 servings, 3 ounces, 3.7 ounces. So I'm going to cut this in half. It's probably still going to be too much, but at least it's in half, and I can have the other half for some other day. So I got to get a container I can put boiling water into. Okay, I'll let you know. Okay. Well, it says that I should put 1 1/4 cups for the whole package. and I've got maybe a little bit less than half of a package. So I don't want to put half a cup of water, which is probably what it should be. But I'm going to start off with a quarter cup and see how that goes. So I decided after I put in a quarter cup that wasn't enough. So you see there's liquid down at the bottom. It says stir it up really good. Stir it up. And then put a top on it for 4 minutes. So I'm putting a top on it for 4 minutes. We'll see how it goes. I haven't tasted any of this brand that I didn't like. There was the teriyaki chicken, I think it was. That was a bit salty for my taste, but it tasted great. Now my biggest problem with that dehydrated food is what to eat. There are so many good choices. I mean really good choices, you know. It's amazing. Anyway, then there is solar cooking. I think I am in love with this method. I have a Haynes 2.0 solar cooker. And I made a DIY from a car reflector because I wanted another cooker, but I didn't want to pay $100 for it. I've been looking at the all-season solar cooker, $97. And even the Haynes, when I bought it, was $79. It was a few years ago. It's now $139, $149. I'm not ready. I used a car reflector. Okay. Got the reflector out of the car. You know the kind. Ooh, can't see a thing. This kind. I'm going to fold it up. Okay, so I folded it up. I got a binder clip on the bottom and way back at the end of the funnel. This is it. This is the car reflector. 2 binder clips to hold it together, some rocks to hold it down, a hula hoop that was very helpful to keep it open because you can see how the wind is shaking it now. So you can imagine if it didn't have the hula hoop there. So it looks like maybe I should invest in another hula hoop. So I have one for this cooker and one for my regular cooker. Okay, I decided to do an experiment today. This is refrigerated leftovers from yesterday. It's cold but not frozen. So this is black beans and rice with chicken thigh. It's on top of, I put it in aluminum foil because I really hate washing dishes. I have a rack, you know, you get this pot came, the other sold out. Could use some work, I can see. So I put that on the rack, and I put a cover on that, and then I'll put that inside of an oven bag, you know, for cooking turkeys, and secure it with binder clips. I'm going to use, instead of my regular solar oven, I'm going to use the reflector for the car. So we'll see how that goes. Okay, I had to do some rigging on this because we get a lot of wind out here, so I didn't want it to collapse. So I used my hula hoop with bungee clips, with binder clips rather. I also put some rocks in the back, a rock in the back, you can see that, and there's a rock here in the front. Make sure it stayed placed. Okay, it's 1:15, so let's see how long it takes to heat that up. It wasn't frozen, it's just cold and it's leftovers. And I'm only trying to heat it up today. I'm not trying to cook anything. But from what I understand, it goes up to about 125 degrees, which is about the same as a slow cooker. So I would say it's going to probably take an hour to heat up. I'll let you know. So, this is a plastic fork. Look at how tender this is. This is fall off the bone tender. God damn. I wanted two cookers so I can cook two foods at one time. The space in each cooker really only allows for one pot, although the all-season solar cooker allows for two pots. The hard part of solar cooking is not to open the oven, not to open the bag, not to open up the pot top, because you lose heat, and then it takes a good while for it to build back up again. So it's a good if you can get a black pot with a glass top so you can see the food. You know, I have one pot that has a glass top that's big enough, you know, it has a black bottom and I can see my food and I can put other things in it to act as an oven. And I really like that. The other thing about solar cooking is that it's set up and forget it. You know, I set it up so the sun is shining into the cooker, but the cooker is faced so that it's ahead of the sun, so that when the sun comes over, it comes around and catches it eventually, you know. And I set it so that it'll catch up to full power later in the day. I usually put my solar cooker out there like, I don't know, 7, 8, 9 o'clock in the morning, usually 7, because I do everything, all my morning stuff, you know, when it's not crazy hot outside. That way I don't have to come out every half an hour and turn it, you know, which is the reasons why I lay my solar panels flat on the ground. One of the reasons is so that I don't have to keep constantly turning them. And also in the desert there's a lot of wind, and I've had my solar panels blown away 3 times already, so don't want that to happen either. So here are some examples of solar cooking problems that I didn't discover until I was cooking. Take, for instance, I cooked the frozen chicken strips on a rack over the cornbread. So I had the cornbread in a pot, had a rack over the top of it, so the cornbread was uncovered, and then the chicken was on the rack, and that was uncovered. Okay. At that time, I wasn't using oven bags. Okay. The cornbread didn't cook in the middle by the time the chicken was done, because I think the chicken was shading the cornbread, so it wasn't getting any sun. I cooked the cornbread longer, and it finished it off. It was fine. Another one was frozen chicken strips. I like the frozen chicken strips. They're easy. They're already seasoned. I just take them out, stuff them in the thing, and forget it, right? Along with some seasoned fries and some leftover Mexican beans and rice. All of that was frozen solid, okay? It was an overcast day, almost no sun the entire day. It was just gray, really gray. It is overcast and cloudy, and I don't know if this is going to work or not. There's no real shadow. There is a little bit of shadow. I don't know if you can see that. And see if this will cook. So I got some chicken, some french fries, and some leftover adobe rice. All of this is frozen. So we'll see how long it takes to cook. And if it will cook, I don't even know. Okay, so it is 1 o'clock. It's actually after 1 o'clock. This has been out here for 4 hours, mostly because I fell asleep, and that's the way it went. So I would think that it is definitely cooked right. It smells good. Oh yeah, definitely. That's definitely hot. That's hot. It's time to take it inside. Well, the rice came out really good. It's nice and still very moist. It just looked dry on the top, but it's really good. good. It's not crispy. Fries are not crispy either, but it doesn't matter. They taste good. It's all really good. The chicken and the fries weren't crispy, but that's to be expected with this type of oven that steams more than bakes. So I think in order to have made it crispy, I should have taken the cover off and let it bake, and not put the rice in there, because the rice needs to steam, but the chicken and the potatoes didn't, you know. So that's a good reason to have a second cooker, or a larger cooker, so that you can use 2 pots, you know. So, in order to solve that problem, I made a DIY solder cooker. But I want you to know, even though I keep showing chicken and rice dishes, I have cooked soup, fish, sausages, shrimp, roasted frozen vegetables, cornbread, etc. You know, all kinds of stuff. I can cook anything that you can cook in an oven, anything that bakes. These cookers fold down flat, so they can be carried in a car. You can stick them under your mattress and you'd never know it was there, you know. It's the pots that need to be black. The outside of the pot needs to be black, along the sides even. And it's pots that take up space, you know, but you're probably carrying a pot anyway, even if you're in a car or a van or whatever. So, anyway, I'm still learning different tricks as the problems come up, like too much steam, for instance. But otherwise, I love solder cooking and recommend it. And actually, if you could try it, do it instead of your regular household cooking, you'll first of all save on gas, or if you got an electric stove, electricity. You won't heat up the house. You won't stink up the house if you're cooking things that you're not crazy about the smell of, like fish or onions. So personally, I like both of them, so I don't care. I recommend you try it. I mean, you could try it making, you know, using your car reflector, just for the sheer heck of knowing how to do it and surviving if your power goes out, you know. It's really super easy. So anyway, the Rowley report. Well, I was going to have Rowley sitting up here and you could see him and that kind of stuff, but he doesn't like sitting up here. So I guess I'm too high up off the ground. Okay, you ready? You want me to take that? Give me that. You want me to throw it? You want me to throw it? There you go. You're such a good boy. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Oh, you're still not going to give it to me, huh? Okay, I guess this 102 is really too hot to be chasing balls. Anyway, you should know, Rowley is a great pet, and he feels good too. So thanks for watching, and thank you for your support. See you next Friday at 5 p.m. Pacific time, and take care of you and yours, okay? Blessed be.